We've all seen the TV action news of a manufacturing facility or large construction project in flames, with the newscaster speculating that the fire was caused by a welding torch of some kind. Unfortunately, it does happen just that way. Every year fires occur which could have been prevented had employees used appropriate fire prevention measures. The use of a hot work permit system as a primary means of preventing fires due to non-routine open flame and high temperature processes. Hot work is any work using open flames or sources of heat that could ignite materials in the work area. Some of the examples of hot work are welding, burning, brazing, propane soldering, oxyacetylene cutting, grinding ferrous metals. Some of the basic hot work permit procedures include: before beginning hot work, contact the fire marshal, safety engineer, or maintenance manager to have a hot work permit issued. Permits are issued for the specific job being done and for a specific time period. The time period is usually for the working shift, but may never exceed 24 hours. The fire marshal, safety engineer, maintenance manager, or other person designated to issue hot work permits has the responsibility to verify that all necessary precautions have been taken at the work site. Some of the precautions include making sure the sprinkler systems are in service. All cutting and welding equipment is in good repair. Keep in mind, the work area that will be used should be cleared of any debris for 35 feet. That's the distance that welding sparks or slag can be thrown. Naturally, the floors must be swept clean of combustibles. Combustible floors should be wetted down and covered with damp sand or fire-resistive sheets. Flammable liquids removed. Other combustibles, if not removed, then they must be protected with fire-resistive tarpaulins or metal shields. Explosive atmosphere in the work area must be eliminated. All wall and floor openings covered. Fire-resistive tarpaulins suspended beneath work. If the work will be done on walls or ceilings, then the construction should be non-combustible and without combustible covering or isolation. Combustibles moved away from other side of wall. If the work is to be on enclosed equipment, the equipment must be cleaned of all combustibles. All containers containing flammable liquids must be purged and cleaned of the flammable liquids. A fire watch will be provided during and for at least 30 minutes after work and during any coffee or lunch breaks. Many times a fire will be slow to start, so the 30-minute time period will make sure a fire will not start up right after the work is completed. A fire watch is supplied with suitable extinguishers or appropriate extinguishing methods in the event there is a fire. Of course, the fire watch is trained in use of this equipment and in sounding the alarm in case of fire. The hot work permit system is intended to educate the parties involved in construction of these hazards and to implement control measures to help mitigate them. A hot work permit is the means by which the departments of risk management and safety can stay aware and keep track of construction activities that involve hot work. The hot work permit also provides a step-by-step checklist for hot work fire safety and serves as a reminder to contractors of their fire prevention responsibilities before, during, and after any hot work is conducted. If you have a contractor come on your property, they must obey your rules. This is particularly true if any hot work will be accomplished while on your property. It is your company's responsibility to make them aware of your rules, and it's their responsibility to abide by your regulations and requirements. Hot work permits are needed for each building where hot work will be performed. For example, if one contractor is performing work at several different buildings for one project, a permit is necessary for each building. Hot work permits are needed for each and every contractor or subcontractor performing hot work for a project. For example, if there are 3 different subcontractors performing hot work on one project, each subcontractor is responsible for obtaining a permit for their own work. The duration of a hot work permit depends on the type of project, new or existing construction, and the character of the hot work. The following are guidelines used to determine how long a permit is good for. These are only guidelines, and your company may have additional requirements. If there are conditions unique to the project or activities a contractor will be performing, exceptions can be made. For new construction, permits are issued in 28-day intervals. New construction is defined as new buildings, additions to existing buildings, new tunnels, including vaults, and new exterior improvement work. The following are the types of work anticipated for new construction: structural hot work, cutting, welding, reinforcing steel and structural steel for all of the project's structural work, tunnels construction, building superstructure, site work. Mechanical hot work, tunnel services connections, building system installations, HVAC equipment installations. General activities hot work, all other cutting welding for equipment building component installations, handrails, guardrails, specialties, and ornamental metal. For renovations and remodels, permits are issued in 7-day intervals. Renovations and remodels are defined as new work that takes place in an existing building. The following are the types of hot work anticipated for renovations, remodels. Demolition hot work, dismantling built-in equipment, removal of discontinued, abandoned equipment. Mechanical hot work, removal of discontinued, abandoned services, new service tie-ins, building system installations, modifications. General activities hot work, all other cutting welding for equipment building component installations, handrails, guardrails, specialties, and ornamental metal. Hot work permits should be posted on the job site in an accessible and conspicuous location. Job site trailers are an acceptable location. When the hot work project has been completed, the form should be returned to the issuing office. These permits should remain in company files for as long as determined by your company, generally at least 1 year. A permit is required if the work will occur within 40 feet of a building or potential hazard, such as a fuel storage tank. All hot work in confined spaces requires a permit regardless of location. A permit is not required in maintenance shops and instructional areas where hot work is routinely performed. All safety precautions must be taken. Performing hot work in a confined space requires unusual precautions and must be completed with the utmost of responsibility. Persons performing hot work must check for smoke detectors in the area that they will be working. This is necessary to avoid unwanted alarm activations. Be sure the smoke detectors are returned to normal operating conditions when the hot work is completed. You can see that using a hot work permit is something that requires some planning and diligence. Leaving out a procedure or forgetting to do something could mean a major fire or loss of life. Hot work permits are not difficult to accomplish if you follow the procedures. That's what we want you to do. Be safe and healthy.